Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat podcast. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, the two gentlemen behind the minds behind Stream Beat, Franky Garcia, Alex Musibay. Gentlemen,
Stream Beat takeover.
I love it. I love the free pub.
Listen, I'm here. I want to be a man of the people, right? I want to be like the cool guy at work that wants to like support y'all, and So, check out Stream Beat chat. Stream Beat. What is Stream Beat? I'll let Moose take this because Franky talks about it on the Weird Al. Franky, tomorrow you'll plug it on WAP, and today Moose gets to.
Exactly. We'll trade off. Well, Stream Beat podcast, thank you, G, is a podcast born out of sarcasm by Franky and I. Basically, it literally was a joke in the Miami Heat Beat chat, and we've turned it into a really fun podcast where we break down movies, TV shows, whatever the latest Hollywood news is. And we've had a really fun time with it. And we've been lucky to have some really cool guests. So make sure you check it out.
It's great. We love it. We love Stream Beat. Chat saying drip drop. We going. All right. So today, drip drop. We have a fun show. We have stuff to talk about. The Heat are coming off a win, and shows off of wins are a lot better than shows. Listen, you guys not in the content curation business. Whenever the Heat lose, it sucks because you're just like, I don't want to talk about losses. And B, when they start stringing losses together, you're thinking, that's money coming out of our pockets right there. Look at that missed rebound. I could feel the downloads leaving and the checks less and less. So, we have a lot, we're fans, right? Right. Moose, you're laughing, but we're fans. Like I'm jumping and screaming because I love the team. Like I love Jimmy. Like when he had that play yesterday, or I think it was it RJ Barrett? He just grabbed him weird on the fast break, and Jimmy starts laughing maniacally after what was almost a dangerous foul. I just get up and I point at the TV, and I go, "He's fucking built different." Because I'm in as a fan. We love it, but guys got to string some wins together because some of us have some financial stake in this shit.
G, were you watching the game with your mom yesterday?
I was.
Okay. I'm hoping you're not saying that to yourself just out loud.
No. I would. Listen.
Looking in the mirror. Yeah.
Well,
he's built different. Woo! High five the anime body pillow.
Yeah, me and my waifu. When Dwayne hit the game winner against the Warriors, I was by myself. I'm downstairs. I'm by myself, and Dwayne and I start jumping up and down, and I'm by myself, and I'm running around my living room, screaming and yelling.
You said Dwayne and I.
It felt like he was here. We're connected. Dwayne and I.
I was waiting for you to say my dog Dwayne or something like that.
No. Wade and I have
just
a kid now.
Just me and Father Prime, just chilling.
Dwayne hops on the table. I hop on my couch. We're both saying this is my house.
Same thing. Yeah. So that's how that goes. But Heat win, and it's good because they, as Tiff says, Jimmy has to put the cape on. And unfortunately, that's kind of what this team is until the Cavalry and Victor Oladipo come. So he's apparently not playing tomorrow against the Pacers because he has a head cold. So hopefully he feels better. It's scary, you never. If people say head cold, and the first thing I'm like, not COVID, right? But he would have been solid state. We want guys to be safe. So we have a couple things we want to talk about, and we're also going to get to your Patreon questions. Shout out to all our patrons, patreon.com/Miami Heat Beat. Listen, you guys have come out strong on the support on the Patreon, and we love you guys. Check out all our little extra goodies and offerings. We have a lot of fun with our patrons, and we like it. It's fun, and it's a cool way to build our community. And we take your questions here on the podcast. So I guess I could start with one of them from the homie Luke Weber. And this was a topic that I wanted to talk about anyway, so this works out rather perfectly. So Luke asks, adding big men depth, like what big men can we add? And more importantly, who takes the 4 position in the starting and closing lineup? And we're going to get into some of the big man depth in a second because there's a name that was floating around today that I'm very, very interested in. But Franky, I'll start with you. Ariza looks to be the guy starting and closing for Eric Spoelstra. I want to know what you think. They can go a lot of ways, but what do you think Spo will do, but what would you like?
I think once Ariza starts getting consistent with that shot, we've talked at length about how he's basically taken a year off with COVID, missing the bubble and everything, and not playing before he got to the Heat. We've talked at length about that. So doesn't have his legs under them. He's missing a lot of open shots. But the thing is, he's looked good and he's affected the game in other ways. His defense looks good. He was harassing Damian Lillard the other day, which I was not expecting his foot speed to be that good with that much time off and hounding on an MVP candidate. But he's effective. He's got a good drive game. He's rebounding. He's getting assists. He's getting steals. He's getting blocks. He's doing a little bit of everything. Only thing he's not doing is hitting his open shots. And he's
Sounds
got
like the story of the season.
Yeah, but he's got a career of hitting shots, and so I trust him to figure that out. I think the versatility and the two-way threat on offense and defense, and being a floor spacer makes him an ideal candidate to finish. I am absolutely 1,000% done with Andre closing games. His shot is nowhere where we need it to be, and even Ariza at the current level of Ariza missing all these open shots, I'll trust Ariza over Andre at this point.
Moose, I give the same question to you.
Well, I mean, Franky kind of touched on it, but just to elaborate on kind of what he was saying, my favorite Spoism, if you will, is sweat equity. And I think it sums up Spo so much because he always falls back on sweat equity. And what does that mean? That he likes the crafty, cagey veteran. He wants someone that's been around the game and that he can rely on in the end of the fourth quarter, that knows what those clutch fourth quarter minutes is like. It's why he's been relying on Andre Iguodala so much up until this point. And I think, like Franky was saying, once Trevor starts hitting those shots and getting more of his legs under him, I mean, we're already seeing that he is going to be a factor for us defensively. But once he starts producing on the other side of the ball too, I think he's just going to start racking up the minutes as much as possible. I think Spo is very eager to get Ariza, plug and play, and just hit the ground running with him.
So my thing is, I think in a perfect world, you get Belly to start and Ariza to close. Now, I think with the starters, you can hide Belly a little more. Most of your players are better defensively, except for even Duncan's like okay. And I think it's important for them to get off to quick starts offensively. And I think in theory, Belly is going to be a better shooter and a better kind of spacer than Trevor. So, and again, this kind of depending on how they're shooting, but I like the idea of them getting off to quick starts. And when you bring Goran and Tyler off the bench, and when you're playing those two and Belly, I get worried about the defense. So I think Trevor helps to balance out those second units, especially when him and Iguodala come out, and then maybe those two and Oladipo, right? Maybe Jimmy comes out, Bam comes out, and then those two guys plus Oladipo kind of stay until Bam or Jimmy come back, so they can do a lot of cool staggering. But I think the idea of Bjelica starting, giving them a quick jolt offensively, helping in third quarters too, because I know that they had a really good third quarter against the Knicks, but I think historically the third quarter is the third quarter. I think it's still their worst quarter.
Yesterday was an outlier.
That shit was not the rule.
But let's not rely on it.
And that was like Jimmy full on cape. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy took over, grabbed the game by the balls and all that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. Like I think their 4 position is pretty shored up. I don't know. Do you guys disagree? Like I think at this point, like they don't need to look any further. This is what they got. They can cobble enough minutes at power forward between the guys that they have. Even Andre can play some spot 4 minutes when they need. And yesterday, Franky, I love that lineup that they threw out with. It was Bam, Jimmy, Andre, and Trevor. And Cooper Moorhead tweeted out today, like, look at these switches. It's fun.
Yeah, man, they finally have length and positional versatility on both ends. I'm very excited about that. I think Bjelica would be the ideal like spot starter. Like he plays the opening of both halves, and then he doesn't play again most likely. And that's fine. You use him as a spacer. He's good enough. He has to learn the system. He played like 5 minutes yesterday. He was very lost, very confused, but that's okay. It's gonna take some time. He was on the active roster, but he wasn't playing a lot for Sacramento, so you got to let him get acclimated. as well. But I like Bjelica. I think he's going to be a good pickup. And like you said, the versatility of the wings and the closing lineups. Now you actually can put 5 defensive guys out there when you need a stop. You don't have to put fucking Duncan or Goran or Tyler and hope and pray that they don't fuck up. And I just absolutely like the makeup of this roster. I think we're still missing that backup 5, and we'll talk about that later. But this roster is coming together.
Like, and Frankie, we've talked a lot about this, how Spo doesn't normally go all defense line. Why? See, chat's making fun of me. Chat's making fun of my breathing. Shmita says G wheezing into the mic is a great new addition. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm a little bit of
he got
sniffles.
the vaccine. Leave him alone.
Yeah, like, come on. I'm fighting. I'm fighting through the Moderna. Okay, I'm fighting through the Moderna. Leave me alone. I'm trying my best. I'm out here for the people.
Wheezy.
Yeah, Wheezy G baby. Now I'm self-conscious. Now, like now I'm like Schmeathan has me shook. Schmeathan and Dad. Like,
he's gonna unplug the video camera and blow his nose.
Yeah, just like, oh my god. Yeah, you know when my little video goes out because my USB cable's faulty. That's gonna be I have a napkin ready. Spo doesn't normally go to these all defensive lineups, and it's Frankie. We've been frustrated by that. And I think that this is going to give them an excuse to do it because it's just vets that he trusts. So it's like Depot and then the 2 wings, Jimmy, Bam.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I am tired of pretending Tyler Hero is a good defensive player or like.
Wait, who's pretending?
Strides.
I mean, like, are we pretending for Moose?
People are saying that Tyler's made strides defensively. He's not as bad as.
Who's saying that?
I've seen it. I've seen these takes on Twitter. I've seen these actual takes on Twitter.
He plays hard. All right, he plays hard. So.
Scrappy.
Scrappy.
He does it. They're not called Hero D's, okay? They're Heroes because he has no fucking D in his name. He's got no defensive awareness. This guy has absolutely no clue what the hell's going on that end.
All right, we get it. Make your point.
I'm tired of closing with him because he theoretically could hit a fucking free throw. Whenever they do these situational inbounds that the Heat need to ice up the game, they run the fucking play for Jimmy anyways. Get the fuck out of here. Get him out of these lineups. Get Duncan out of these lineups. Duncan's made actual strides. He still has that reputation that he's fouling and shit, but he
fouls a ton. He fouls he has very inopportune fouls.
Absolutely, but it's not because he's a bad IQ defender. He's where he's supposed to be. He's just a second slow, or he still does the hand.
You're such a hater. You're giving it to Duncan, but
are you
Tyler.
Tiff? Are you Tiff?
No, I'm telling it how it is, like I always do. I don't sugarcoat this shit.
You sugarcoat this. You tell it like it is. Yeah, I mean, listen, drip drop. It's tough. I don't think he'll ever be a good defender. I think it's tough, and I think Duncan. I'd be surprised if Duncan gets like significantly better than what he is. I think this is what he's gonna be. I don't think he can be better. I mean, he might have the wingspan to be a little better. I think Tyler just, from a size standpoint. I don't think he has natural kind of like Andre's hands are great. We watch Andre. Andre has quick hands. He has amazing instinct, and Andre also has he's like Dr. Octopus. His fucking arms are
he's also smart as shit. He has got the
he's a fucking
scouting
savant.
report like locked down. He knows this guy likes to turn left more than he turns right. He knows all that shit.
Have you heard him talk about defense?
It's also a case of Tyler never had to play defense before until he reached the NBA. Like, let's be honest, his entire game, his whole life has just been put the ball in the basket. Don't worry about the other stuff.
There's a reason young guys are usually net negatives because they don't have to play. They usually are the stars of their teams growing up.
Exactly.
And they don't have to play that hard. They don't have to play that role. They don't have to guard the best guy on and score. But this is the reality of it. Like, you want to be a fucking star, you have to fucking play defense. If you want to close games, you gotta.
He is a star.
You gotta play both ends. Star.
They're
not even
gonna
a star
have
fish.
Fucking cereals.
I think Ariza's closing. I think that that's a close and shut case. I think the closing lineup is going to be Bam, Ariza, Jimmy as your front court. You're going to have Oladipo, and then you're going to have one of Dragic or Hero. Now, that is actually really interesting to me because Eric's gone with Tyler more than Dragic this year. Now, that might be health. And in the playoffs, Eric opted for both. So both of those guys were in the backcourt closing every game. But now you've included a new element, which is, the guy who's potential all-star in Victor Oladipo. So I think that second guard spot is going to be like, well, who has it tonight? I think Eric likes Tyler's. I don't really know what Tyler does better than Goran at this point.
I was waiting for that. Yes, G.
Because I was going to say, like,
it's tenacity, it's clutch. That's what he
Tyler.
likes. But I think he leans Goran, though. Like, I know you're making the case right now for Tyler, but I do think he leans Goran in the postseason.
I don't think he made the case for Tyler.
I don't think I made the. I was trying to I was making a hypothetical case for Tyler, and I was like, man, everything that Tyler does. I mean, like theoretically, if Goran's healthy, like Goran can pull up. Oh, Goran can shoot the three really well.
Goran gets the basket easier. He can run the offense. He can take pressure off of Depot.
His decision making.
Yeah, he's clutch.
Tyler's decision making's up his ass. Like, and I say that as somebody who likes Tyler.
He's not a point guard.
He's not, but I mean,
it's what it is. Like
in an Eric Spoelstra offense, all 5 players need to make decisions. Right? Yeah, even the.
He doesn't need to be a point guard. He just needs to make good decisions.
Like when the rotation comes, you need to know how to make those reads. When those drops happen and where the angles are, like you need to be able to make those reads. And he's not. Last year it was easier because guys were hitting shots, screeners were moving, there was more space. So it was like bang bang, zip zip, Duncan's open in the corner. Teams are switching more now. The angles are a little tighter, guys know, and the offense isn't working as well. It's a little mucky, it's a little gummy. So that's naturally going to make the reads. It's not, you know what I mean? You're not in rhythm. You're never in. This offense is never in rhythm, and that's hard for a guy, especially for a young player. I think in those kinds of situations, Goran is a little better. So chat's Leo MPR says Goran is done. Injuries have killed his career. I wouldn't count Goran out yet. This has been a little knick-knacking injuries. It's nothing serious. It's a groin here. It's this, it's that. Like, I don't. What was he out with now? Was it like a knee thing?
Old age. I don't know, man. Just keep him in bubble wrap until the postseason. Like we know that he's gonna deliver for us when we need him to. The problem is we were relying on him way too much the first couple months.
They need to rest him. I agree, but I think that he also needs to build some chemistry with Oladipo and with Ariza. I think it's not wise to just drop him into the playoffs with a bunch of new guys and be like, figure it out. You know, and like he's barely played a full season with Andre. If we really think about it, you know what I mean? Like we're barely over a season of him playing with Andre, right? And so I mean, it's just to keep in mind. But from a big position, I think for sure Ariza's gonna close, and I think he's probably the clubhouse leader to start. I don't know if you guys have objections, even though I would like Belly. Or at least see what that looks like. I kind of think that Ariza might have that as locked up as you could.
Yeah, I'm fine with either option. Like I said, Belly would likely be that spot starter who never closes games and stuff like that. The
Luke Babbitt treatment.
Yeah, the Luke Babbitt, but a lot better than Luke Babbitt and not as one-dimensional.
Yeah, no.
But
I'm saying minutes-wise.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Myers Leonard. Myers Leonard did that shit last year too. But Ariza's oh yeah, redacted. But Ariza's, if Ariza's the option and he's ready to go and that's the best role for the team, let's go with it. I'm good either way.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about, which we talked about last podcast, but I feel like we have to bring it up again, and I think it's going to be a topic of conversation up until we're pretty sure that we're set in this lineup. Backup 5. Now, Precious looked not so good and sometimes okay yesterday. Let's remember that Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks was out, and Nerlens Noel had a bigger impact on the game than he should have. Let's just say that. We shouldn't be noticing Nerlens Noel so much. And Marc Gasol potentially hitting the buyout market. Now, that was kind of something that was rumored. I don't really know how true that is, but it really got my interest because Marc is a guy that in his last year in Toronto looked done in certain aspects because the Raptor defense was still better when he was on the floor, and that was a fact. I do think that against the Celtics, he looked cooked because he can't guard space, and especially with kind of those really spread out lineups, he's done. He's on an island, and they opted for going really small. They went OG at the 5 with Siakam at the 4, and that was really what they were closing with against the Celtics. The Lakers have struggled. Their defense is still good. Marc hasn't looked good. Their lineups have been inconsistent. AD has missed a lot of time. Now LeBron's missing time. He doesn't look great. Now, he also was, playing significant minutes since declined. If he does become a member of the Heat, and I'll start with Moose on this, I think he legitimately can contribute. And I think he's not going to be asked to start. He's not going to be asked to defend the best players. They're going to need him. Mark, we need you for 10 minutes. Give us 10 to 12 good minutes. He can also play with Bam because he's the kind of big who does shoot. Now, oftentimes a little unwilling, but he can shoot. And I think this will be a good situation for him. I think that he can play with your best players. He can back up your center and pretty seamlessly because they can still run their handoffs and they can run all their favorite sets. I think Duncan and Tyler are going to love playing with him as a passer with all the movement that Miami has. It'll be really nice. Chat's out. Chat is like Mark's worse than Boogie. I get it. He hasn't looked good. He's looked bad in LA. I'm not disputing that.
Gasol can fit our system a lot easier than Boogie can, in my opinion.
Listen,
now don't get me wrong. I love Boogie.
Yeah.
I love Boogie, and would I like to see him in Miami? Absolutely. That would be a fucking for us as media people, that would be incredible. But I think Marc Gasol fits our system really, really well. To G's point, it's only 10 minutes a game that we need him. And let's be honest, we don't have a backup big right now. Like Marc Gasol joins our team, guess what? He's your best option just by default. So give me anybody 7 feet that can rebound and I'll be happy. In this case, Marc Gasol can give you a little bit more than that. He can pass, he can shoot. I mean, is he the same Marc Gasol that he was, 5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago?
Not even last year.
Not even last year, exactly. But on this roster, he's your best option. Bless you. That fucking Moderna.
Thank you. I muted for stream. I know that you guys. So when I mute on stream, you guys can still hear because I don't mute Zoom, but I do mute for stream. He's Franky. I like him. I like Mark. Again, he's 6'11". He doesn't rebound particularly well anymore. He's slow. He's soft. Like at his age, he's 30. Well, what? He's 36 years old. Shooting 40% from the field. Ouch. 49% from 2. Averaging 5 points a game. And 4 rebounds. No bueno. But I believe he's playing 20 minutes a game. You cut that shit. You chop that shit in half. You put him in a good system. You put him in some warm weather, and you put him with Pat Riley. And listen, I think you're onto something.
I like Mark. I've always liked Mark. He's I don't know why Chat is saying that he's not a smart
Chat's
player.
out on him. They're out. They were more in
IQ.
on
that's his biggest attribute is his IQ.
Yeah.
He's really
He's fucking smart. Imagine him and Andre quarterbacking a defense.
Yeah.
Off the bench. You think they're gonna make those poor backups fear for their lives?
Yeah, I really like Mark. I haven't seen him much this year. So when I looked at his stats for the first time today, they were a little concerning. But like you said, if any big that they're looking at, it would be for a 10 to 15 minute role to spell Bam and Mark.
Not even 15. Not even 15.
Not even, especially come playoff time. But Mark would be one of those guys that you can play with Bam a little bit because he can hit an open 3. He can pass in the high post. He is excellent playing in the high post and making reads, hitting cutters and stuff like that. Like you said, he can quarterback defense, and him spelling a big man like that. Like, this is all we really need. We need at this point of the season, we need a guy who can give us 10-15 minutes. I wouldn't mind Marc Gasol. He's much better than a Precious Achiuwa, even at this age and time of his career.
The Lakers are about the same with Mark on and Mark off, right? They're plus 5.67 with him off. They are plus 367 with him on. So it's 2-point differential. I mean, it's whatever. They're still good with him on the floor. The defense is about the same when he's on versus when he's off, and that's what we're really looking at. And I think the offense, the Lakers isn't a really good offense for him because they don't have enough shooting and enough movement. And that's about what a LeBron team is. I mean, he can't really hold the ball in at the elbow and kind of do his little Mark thing, right? It's a LeBron-led machine.
Yeah.
With the Heat, the bigs really trigger all the actions. So, the big starts as a screener or as a handoff man, has the elbow. They run some high post stuff. Like they do everything through their bigs. Even since we can go back to Chris Bosh. I mean, this has been kind of a staple of SPO teams for a while. So I think it's a little bit better of an offense. I think Miami's going to have the cutters. I think him and Jimmy together, Jimmy's a fantastic cutter. Jimmy playing off the ball, him with those bench units.
Depot
There's
too.
Yeah, there's something there.
Depot, Ariza, Andre, all these guys.
He's a wash bag and throw.
You drop him into this roster, he just fits.
Yeah.
Especially for those 10, 15 minutes, he fits.
Yeah.
Now, in a playoff matchup where a guy against the Nets, it's going to be tough. And let's not forget, the Nets are adding LaMarcus and Blake Griffin.
Play a little bit against LaMarcus, but that's it.
Yeah. These guys he could play against. I think he's a good body against Embiid. Philly's not, you know what I mean? It's not like Embiid's flying. Embiid's not Karl Anthony Towns, shooting off of motion. He's honestly your best chance. I think he's probably even a better chance against Embiid than Bam, because Bam's just small.
Mm-hmm.
Bam's 6'9", right? Embiid's like 7'2". It's and I'm pretty sure Bam gives a point there. So I like it.
I do too. I like him. Can we address Boogie though? Because
I love Boogie. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't called him yet.
Sorry, call back.
She's got Boogie up his nose right now.
Is it that bad? Is it bad?
I just like fucking with you.
Anymore.
Okay, I was like, I didn't even notice. Chats, by the way, pounding the Rondé Hollis Jefferson table. Listen, I like Rondé. I like him as a backup 5. He doesn't really address their size issues, and he's tiny, but I like him. But I prefer Mark.
Yeah, I want size. Give me a true backup 5. Phrasing all day. Give it to me.
What you got, Franky?
I like Rondé too. The versatility on defense, and he can also punish a small inside. He's a good post player. The thing about Boogie though, like you guys can't be complaining about Mark's defense and then bring up Boogie. Like Boogie. The reason Boogie's cut is because he's a bad defender. He's a noticeably bad defender.
On offense, he could just spot up and he doesn't hurt you.
And he's a great passer too. He can fill the same role as Mark with a better offensive repertoire. But defensively, he's much worse. And
Boogie's had like bad injuries, like legitimately bad injuries that are like it's not he's unhappy type shit. It's like this motherfucker, his body doesn't work.
His body is literally breaking down.
Yeah, he also wanted to leave Houston because he wanted a bigger role. He's not going to get that here. I like Boogie. I root for him. I want him to have a second half of his career and be successful. I just don't see the fit here because I don't think he wants this kind of role. And that's okay. That's his right. But we need somebody who fills that role and is okay to accept that role and can thrive in that role. Boogie here, Boogie can be friends with Jimmy and can say and do all the right things. But if he doesn't want to win and he's more focused about his second half of his career and being a starter and being an all-star again, he's not going to be able to do that in these 10 to 15 minutes,
How do you guys just hypothetically feel about that combo, him and Bam together, Boogie and Bam?
I think it works on offense the ways that it works with Mark, just because Boogie's a spacer, and like when you have a guy at the 5 who can shoot the ball and who's a good passer, it's never gonna hurt your team. You could play those guys. Where you get hurt is on defense.
I've been pushing for Boogie onto Miami since he was a free agent before he went to Golden State because I had the idea for the Bam and Boogie as a Bad and Bougie parody song, and I sold that.
Just a pure marketing play.
Just a pure marketing play, and I like them too. I've always thought that the fit was there offensively, definitely.
I mean, it would be fun to watch. Just his body's breaking down. I don't trust Boogie, and it's not. That's really nothing that he did to me. It's just his body's breaking down.
Ouch!
You give his body to the butchers of Biscayne. Look at that. Oladipo has been here 24 hours and he's already sick. What the hell? Chemical warfare we're doing now. What's going on?
Schmeeth and Smolnik in chat says, who would win a 40-yard dash, Boogie, Mark, or a floating corpse?
Alf.
Alf. I don't know about that. I think Alf. I think Boogie. I think Mark might be.
I think I'd give it to Boogie.
Yeah, I think Boogie does.
I think the floating corpse in 5. Easy. I don't even know how this is a discussion. I mean, it gets to be ridiculous. I don't. Yeah, and I think on defense, Mark in particular, they're gonna ask him to drop, and that's fine. And I think that lets Bam play. When they play together, it'll let Bam kind of play off ball more. And when he's a backup 5, that's fine. I mean, whatever. The backup guard is going at you and drop, and they're gonna have Andre and Ariza and whoever And I think if you get Marc, I do think that you should probably start Belly and then give kind of Trevor those backup minutes so you can kind of help those. And I think if Marc is surrounded by, at least 3 positive defenders, especially at the wing, I think you're going to be good. Because the Heat starting lineup, the Heat starters are good. The Heat clobber teams in Jimmy minutes. They're winning the minutes that Jimmy Butler plays. It's just all the other minutes. So as long as you can kind of survive on defense, and if you can cobble enough scoring, and I think Marc's probably going to help your offense at this point more than he's going to help your defense, just because of everything that we've talked about the motion and the cutters and all that. I think it's a good move. Now, whether this happens or not, who knows? I mean, that was just a rumor. By the way, the Heat are +4 points per possession when Jimmy's on the floor, -6 when he's off. And, it's bad. I mean, they just suck. They're bad on both ends, on offense and on defense.
I mean, that's also a product of Andre, the corpse of Andre Iguodala being the backup there and not providing anything offensively. But yeah, man.
I think something to monitor, Franky, are the Jimmy and Andre minutes. They're winning those minutes now. That wasn't the case before. They're at they're +1.2 net rating, 102 offensive rating. So that's the defensive rating has held fast at 100. The offensive rating has ticked up a little bit. But they're much better when Jimmy's on without Andre. Andre on with Jimmy off, they're -2. Andre and Jimmy off, they're -10. And then Jimmy on, Andre off, they're +4. So that's
but like really I think like either any of these kind of like slower bigs, like a Marc or a Boogie, if they turn to an option like that, those guys could easily be inserted to succeed by playing them in certain situations. Like last night, you don't play Marc when Derrick Rose is on the court and Emmanuel Quickley. You can run a good defense with that when those guys aren't on the court. When Derrick Rose is going to run pick and roll and pick you apart and blow past you, then it's obvious it's time to get away from Marc. Let's put Bam back in. It's just that kind of situation. Like, you're not going to play them against speedy guards. And I mean, there's not really like you said, Embiid, Brook Lopez, like those guys aren't going to be running pick and roll and diving to the basket and scaring you. So those guys are options.
Hold on, I want to address something in chat. Okay, somebody said no more slow bigs. Heat expert said no slow bigs. What the fuck do you think's available? You think that there's like, you're either getting a guy like Rondé who's incredibly undersized, or you're getting a slow ass like Boogie or Marc. This is what you get.
We should pick up Zion Williamson. I think that would help us.
Fuck, I think that actually might. If he gives him 12 minutes a game, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, let's go get Zion.
I think that's good. Maybe Karl Anthony Towns. I know he's not good on defense, but I think
let's get 94 Duncan Robinson. Let's get his athletic 1994 Duncan Robinson, David Robinson.
Oh yeah, the Admiral. I'm in on that. I'm in on that. I think with the time machine we can make it. Yeah, guys, listen. They're shopping. They're not even shopping at Walmart. They're shopping at Family Dollar. You get what you can. You don't have choices. You know what I mean? Like, you're not. This is not a catalog. You know what I mean? We're not dining at the finest, right? It's a Golden Corral. The choices are limited. Yeah. Okay, so we can't be fucking choosy on who's gonna be Bam's backup. And I think in a perfect world, Precious, does some soul searching, and is better. But until that moment is to be seen, they need an insurance policy.
Absolutely. You've seen how bad Precious has got, and he's at that rookie wall hard, and it's time to shore up that depth. We're trying to make a playoff run.
Yeah, and Spo is done giving him those minutes to work through. At least for the moment right now. We're trying to get this shit going, We can't afford to have those lackadaisical moments.
Yeah, I think we'll see KZ when he comes back from COVID. And we'll see those spot minutes. Like, I'm sure he can do a fun job of playoff time. I'm not trusting KZ in the playoffs when we need him to wait to at least be a net neutral.
Is he okay?
He's health and safety protocols.
I know. Is he okay
as a player?
Like, no, like, is he like COVID's not a fun experience. Like, I get worried when our guys have COVID.
I don't know. He doesn't respond to my calls, so I can't give you that information.
he's a maybe on Stream Beat, so we're waiting on that.
Yeah, just ask him if he's good. Just ask him if he's good. No, I mean, like, and that's just kind of like, I think the next couple weeks, I think the things to monitor are Precious is the three most important people right now to monitor are Precious, Depot, and Bellinelli. Bjelica. Bellinelli. Because we call him Belly, so it's my I think all eyes on those three going forward. And I guess Ariza to see where he finds a shot. I think that those are the guys that we look at and be like, okay, well, I think the rest of the guys, like, rotations are set. Like Vincent we know what Gabe is. Gabe can spot up and fill some minutes.
Marquee player,
Gabe Vincent. He's not going to be any kind of solution for them. It's going to be Dragic. It's going to be Oladipo. It's going to be Jimmy. It's going to be Goran. It's going to be Bam. It's going to be Ariza, Tyler, Duncan, right? Like all those guys. I probably repeated some names, my bad. But that's their playoff rotation. And then those other guys are good, like Nunn, Bjelica, they have to earn their spot or whatever. So, but I do think that watching Precious closely the next couple weeks and see where he kind of ends up, and they're going to get a big for insurance. I don't think they're going to go another 2 weeks without getting another guy. They have to. They don't have a choice.
Chad is mentioning Kem Birch. Really like that name.
Legend. Heat legend. Skyforce legend Kem Birch.
I like that name. Two-way big.
Getting bought out?
There's been rumors about it, but nothing official yet.
Listen, man. Every player every player that's available now is gonna have warts. Nobody is available right now.
You're not gonna get an all-NBA guy here.
Yeah, everybody is gonna have faults, and it's about figuring some shit out and getting a little lucky and hoping that your infrastructure will elevate these guys to be more successful than maybe they were in their previous spot. So some stuff to monitor. It's exciting. They play the Pacers and the Warriors. That's a tough back-to-back. Saturday against the Cavs. Hopefully that's an easy one. Their season starts now. This is pedal to the metal. I know that Leif has been saying 5 on the floor and stuff that expect Oladipo on Thursday. That's kind of not a report, but a prediction. And I'm sure that it's an informed prediction by Leif, if I know him. And by the way, I want to address this. All y'all on Twitter going at my guy Leif, fuck you. Okay, leave Leif alone. Leif's the best. Stop talking shit. I see your little spatters going after Leif. That's one of the best dudes around. That's family, dude. Don't go at Leif. Leif's great. Yeah, that's like, dude, leave him alone. We're not perfect, and he's great, and he has a lot of him and Adam and all those guys over there are doing a great work. And just because somebody makes a mistake doesn't mean that you got to hop on them. And
I mean, really, is it a mistake if even the Heat were shocked? Like everything Leif was saying was accurate. Like the Heat didn't expect that either. Just shit changed overnight.
Yeah, LaMarcus changed his mind. That's it.
Like, just leave him alone. Like it's not a big deal. Like you're just mad because LaMarcus didn't come out, and you're trying to take it out on poor Leif.
Yeah, Leif didn't decide. Hey, LaMarcus, you're not coming here. Like that's
everybody was making the jokes. ESPN had the graphics. Tim Reynolds. Everybody thought.
Yeah.
I was preparing myself for the worst. I was like, Fat Boy is coming. Did you see LaMarcus's comments today?
No, the switch thing.
Yeah. LaMarcus thinks he can switch. Fat ass.